So yesterday I was in live with Darius at DariusWorld.com, and he said, "Hey, did you see Anycubic came out with a new slicer, the Slicer Next?" I said, "No." So I went, I downloaded it. It is a open source slicer built off of Orca Slicer. That's fantastic. I've been using Orca Slicer on my other printers, and to have that functionality on the Anycubic is great. But let me show you, if you've never used Orca or Bamboo Slicer, or you just never got into the depths of it, let me show you some of the things that I really like about it, especially with big projects. So if you go to the Anycubic Slicer, here I've loaded this file up, and I went through, and what you can do is, you can see I got 4 build plates here. So the second button at the top here is your build plate button, and you can add build plates. Now, once you add a bunch of stuff to a build plate, if you want to arrange that build plate, you right click and hit arrange. Now, if you hit the global arrange, it arranges everything. So if you want to arrange stuff on one build plate, you can click arrange and it will. Now, some of the power of this is in how it's set up. Now, when I have a big project, I like to keep it all in one file, because usually my settings translate to every part of that big project. So that's what's on here. This is a poo drawer for the X1. So I have it set up with 0.6 nozzle, and I went over here to the right where it says global. I got supports turned on, but you see these little pins back here? I want them to have brims, but I don't want everything else to have brims. So if I click on these, I'm holding down my control button and just click on them. And then over here on the right, where it says, or I got my mouse on global, if I change it to objects, here's the 5 pins I just highlighted. Now, you don't have to click them over here. You can go over here and click them, and it will highlight them over here. But then you go over here to others, down below it. Here's all your settings that are in global are right here. And you can turn an outer brim on only those 5 pins. It also works with this guy. So here, let me get out of that. If I wanted to turn off supports for this one item, I click on that one item, I go to support down here, and I can turn supports off for that one item. So you're not stuck in a global situation with multi plates. You can set up each plate's supports, brims. You can even change the quality. If I didn't want this part way back here to have the same quality as the rest of them, I could reduce its quality and keep it part of the same project. Now, once you get all your settings where you want them, whether it's global or by object, what's also nice about the slicer is this. You can also name these plates, by the way, rename them. But once I slice it, it's going to slice the first plate I had highlighted. But if you look at this white button right here, if I click that, that's an all plate. So it's going to slice them all. So for me to print this project, I'm going to need 2,351.69 grams of filament, or basically 2.5 spools to print everything I have, all 4 plates, at the settings I have it set at. And it's going to take me 1 day, 6 hours, and 9 minutes to print all that stuff. And I have like a $30 cost in there, I think, for filament, or $35 cost. So it'll cost me $70.55 for filament. That's what's also nice, is I can build up a big project, and then I can go through and set this up. So if I'm ready to print, I click on my first plate and hit remote print, and it'll send it over to the printer. Then when that one's done, I click on my next plate, remote print, send it to the printer, and so on and so forth. So this slicer has some tools and some functions that the previous Anycubic slicers didn't have. And I thought a video might be nice to show that for the people that are going to be new to this slicer and have never used Orca before, or Bamboo. These functions are also in Bamboo Slicer and Orca Slicer.